Hello, welcome to Math with Mr. Dobrescu, to the rescue. Today we are going to graph linear equations using a table of values. So we are going to create a table of values for this equation, and then we are going to graph this equation. But first, I'm going to explain this problem step by step. Let's look at step number one. So step number one would be to create or make a table of values. Write that down. Make a table of values. Values for x and for y. So let's create a table of values here. So let's create a t-chart, something like that, a t slanted this way. And we are going to put the x here at the top, and then we are going to put the y value or the equation right here on the bottom. So we have y equals 2x plus 4. Please pay attention. When we create this table of values, we are going to put the x here at the top, and the y and the equation y equals 2x plus 4, or the function, right here on the bottom. This is step number one. Make a table of values for x and for y, and we did. Let's take a look at step number two. Step number two would be to give some values for x. We need at least two values for x. So let's give two values for x, and then we are going to solve for y, plugging those values into the x in the equation and solve for y. So let's do that. So step number two, give two values for x. And usually we are choosing small numbers. The smallest number obviously is 0. And then we can do another number, 1. 0, 1 would be very small numbers for x, especially if we do not have a fraction here. So this would be really good numbers. Give two values for x, usually small numbers. Small numbers. Usually small numbers, and we did right there. Now we are going to go to step number three. And step number three would be to plug in those values for x into the equation to solve for y. So plug into the equation, or the function, right? Into the equation, the values of x, right? The values of x, and then solve for y. Okay, let's do that. We are going to plug these values into the x and then solve for y. Let's do that. So we are going to circle the 0, and we are going to plug the 0 into the x and then solve for y. So we have y equals 2 times, instead of x, we have 0 plus 4. And then let's continue solving the equation. 2 times 0 is 0. And 0 plus 4 equals 4. Y equals 4. And this is going to be our first value for the y. On x is 0, y is 4. Next, let's plug in the 1. Let's plug in 1 for x. So let's circle 1 and draw an arrow to the x. And then we are going to solve for y. So we have y equals 2 times x. 2 times x, but x is 1. And then plus 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 4 is 6. So y equals 2 plus 4, or y equals 6. That's it. Y equals 6. So we are done with step number 3. Let's continue with step number 4. Step number 4 would be to create the order pairs 0, 4, 1, and 6, and then plug it into the graph. So create order pairs. Order pairs. And then we are going to graph those plots, then graph those order pairs into the graph, and finally connect the dots. We don't have much room here, but we have to connect the dots afterwards. But first, let's create those order pairs. And let's choose this color for that. Actually, we'll go with this color. So the first order pair would be 0, x is 0, y is 4. X is 0, y is 4. And then the second order pair, x is 1, y is 6. X is 1, y is 6. And now we are going to plot those points into the graph and then get the solution, get a line. Okay, let's graph first 0 and 4. When x is 0, y is 4. So we go up 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our first dot right here. When x is 0, y is 4. That's our first point, first dot. And then when x is 1, remember these are x and y values. X and y. When x is 1 right here, y is 6. So we need to go up 6 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Somewhere right here. This is our second dot right there. And finally, we need to connect the dots and get the answer. So let's connect the dots here. The one line through these dots. And this is our answer. This line, I'm sorry, not that straight, but this is the line going through those 2 points. And that's the answer. And because the line goes to the right, we have a positive slope. So the slope is positive. Positive because the line goes to the right. And now, if you decide to choose any other points on this line, this point, this point, this point, this point, and so forth, all the points found on the line are the solution of this equation. So all the points on the line, all the points on this line we graphed are the solutions, are solutions. Let's say that, are solutions to these equations. Are solutions. Okay, remember that. Any point on this line can be the solution of this equation, because if we find the x and the y for those points, if you plug it into this equation, we are going to get a true statement. Okay, I hope you understood this example, and let's take a look at another example here. Here we have already the table of value. So we don't have to create the table of value because the problem gives us already the table of value. And they are giving us the x, the function y equals 3x minus 1, and then we need to graph this equation. Again, it's going to be a line because x is to the power of 1. This is a linear function. Again, step number 1, create a table of value. We did that. Step number 2, now we need to give some values for the x. Remember from the previous example, how many values? At least 2. You're right. Let's give 2 values for the x. Okay, so again, small numbers. 0, we can do 0 again, and we can do 1 again. Small numbers would always work. And then once we give the values for the x, we are going to plug in those values into this x and solve for y. So let's plug in 0 for x and then solve for y. So we have y equals 3 times, instead of x, we have 0 minus 1. And then we have y equals 3 times 0 is 0 minus 1. So we have y equals 0 minus 1 is negative 1. That's it. Negative 1 for the y. And next we are going to plug in 1 for the x. So then we have y equals 3 times 1 minus 1. Y equals 3 times 1 is 3 minus 1. 3 minus 1 is 2. Y equals 2. Okay? So now we are going to put 2 for this y. Now what do you do next? Remember? Next we are going to create the order pairs. Right? We have 2 order pairs. So the first one is when x is 0, y is negative 1. Next one, when x is 1, y is 2. Okay? So the next step was to create those 2 order pairs. And finally, we're going to plug those order pairs, plug those points into the graph and connect the dots. That's it. Okay, let's graph this order pair first. When x is 0, y is negative 1. So we go right here. Negative 1. This is our first dot right here. Next one, when x is 1, right here, y is 2. So we go 2 units up, 1, 2. So the point is going to be somewhere right here. And now what do we do with those points? We are just simply connecting those dots. So let's connect those dots here. Okay, I did my best here. It's supposed to be a little bit to the left. Let's do that. Let me do a little bit to the left. Okay, let's do a little bit better line. I think this is a little bit better. So this is our answer, right? The solution. Again, the slope, the line goes to the right. So the slope is positive. So we are going to have a positive slope, right? Positive slope. And again, any points on this line are the solution to this equation, right? Any of these dots. We have millions of dots we can put on this line, and then all of those points, they have to be on the line in order to be the solution of this equation. But this is the graph right here. The line goes to the right, we have a positive slope, and this is the answer. We grabbed this equation, it looks something like that. Let's look at one more problem, and you are welcome to pause this video now and see if you can solve this problem without looking at the way I'm doing this problem. Okay, so you can pause it and see if you get the same answer. Again, we have the table of value here. So step number 1, the problem gave us already the table of value. But now, again, we have to give some values for the x, right? At least 2 values for the x. Okay? At least 2 values for the x. Now, I want you to remember and pay attention. Anytime we have a fraction, a fraction in front of the x, we are going to choose those numbers very carefully. So I want to choose a number for x that will cancel this number on the bottom, so we don't end up with another fraction or with decimals. So that number would be 3 would be a good number, because if I substitute x with 3, 3 and 3 will cancel out. Also, 6 would be also a good number, because if I plug in 6 for x, 6 and 3 will simplify. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 3 and 6 is going to work in this case. Again, we are going to substitute this 3 into this x to solve for y. So we have y equals 1 over 3 times, instead of x, we put 3 plus 2. Don't forget that. Let's solve this. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we have y equal, that becomes 1 plus 2, and 1 plus 2 is 3. Y equals 3. Okay, so we get 3 for y. When x is 3, y is also 3. And then let's see when x is 6. So we are going to plug in 6 for x. And we have y equals 1 over 3 times, instead of x, we are going to put in 6 plus 2. And again, 6 divided by 3 is 2. So we get 1 and 2 at the top. 1 times 2, 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. Y equals 2 plus 2, or y equals 4. Okay, we got the second value for y. Y equals 4. When x equals 6, y equals 4. Please remember the next step. Once we do that, once we complete the table, now we have to create the order pairs. Don't forget that. The first order pair is 3 and 3. When x equals 3, y is 3. And the second order pair, when x is 6, y is 4. When x is 6, y is 4. And now, simply, we are going to plug those points into the graph and connect the dots. Let's do that. Let's graph this one first. X, Y, X, Y. X is 3, so we go 3 units to the right from 0. When x is 3, y is also 3, so we go up 3. 1, 2, 3. And then the point is right here. Right there. This is the first dot. And then let's continue with the second order pair. When x is 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Y is 4, 1, 2, 3, and one more unit up, 4. And then we can continue to create this second dot right there, right? So we have 2 dots, and then we are simply going to connect those dots. Let's do that. And this is our answer, right? We connected those dots, we got a line. Again, the slope is going to the right, therefore the slope is positive, right? Positive slope, positive slope. And again, we get the answer. And any points on this line can be the solution. All the points on this line, it doesn't matter the location, as long as the points fall on the line. All the points on this line are the solution. Again, all the points on the line are the solution. Are the solution. I hope this video was clear to you. And now, every time you graph using the table of value, please follow these steps. Okay? Don't forget about these steps. Step number 1, make a table of value. Make a table of value. Don't forget step number 2. Give 2 values for x, at least 2 values. Small numbers, 0, 1, small numbers. Give 2 values for x, at least 2. Step number 3, plug in those values for x into the equation and get a y. Get a y. Next step, create the order pairs. And finally, plot those order pairs into the graph and connect the dots. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. And stay tuned for our next video. All the best to you.